Hello and welcome to the Merryweather Knitting Podcast. My name is Gabriella and I'm coming to you from my home in Germany, where I'm so excited to chat with you today about knitting and crafting and all that I've been up to lately in my making. Since we last spoke, I went on a long trip, traveling all the way back home to America, staying there for 2 months and then coming all the way back here home to Germany again. And yeah, I had such a wonderful, wonderful time. I really enjoyed the last couple of months in my making in the meantime since we last spoke. So I can't wait to share it with you. I have 3 projects to share with you, as well as lots of other things. On this podcast, I feel like I very rarely have acquisitions to share or new yarn, but today I have quite a little pile of new yarn acquisitions to share. So I'm very excited about that. I am here with my big, beautiful cup of iced coffee. This is something so unusual for me because I'm not a very big coffee drinker. I don't do very well on caffeine. But in the States, I just saw a lot. My sisters love iced coffee. And I think in America, it's a big, kind of more of an institution, iced coffee, compared to here in Europe. At least where I live, I think, you can get iced coffee, but it's just not such a big thing as it is in the States. And I didn't actually drink any while I was there, but I did, when getting back home, it started to get really warm. I got kind of inspired to drink some because my husband would make his coffee in the morning. Nick always has a cup of coffee. And I just kind of looked at it and I thought, maybe I should make some iced coffee. He's used a French press. And often there's a little bit left in the pot after he's poured his cup. So I just poured a little bit more into a different cup, waited for it to cool, and then would make my own little iced latte coffees. Not really latte, it's not espresso, but I have some amazing, oat milk. And I put a tiny bit of agave, so it's sweet. It's so yummy. It's such a treat. If you can hear any background noises, it is what it is. It's a windy day out. We have windows open, so sometimes doors slam or close, or we live in a flat, so sometimes you might hear the neighbors through this podcast video, but I think it's not a big deal. I don't think you'll mind, but it's so yummy. It's such a treat. So now on the weekends, I treat myself to this kind of an iced coffee, kind of like a little bit of a cup, and make just a ton of with a ton of, oat milk. I do love black coffee actually, but I'm nursing and like I said, I'm very sensitive to caffeine. So this is about half a cup of coffee, and with the ice and the oat milk and a little bit of agave, it feels like such a treat, such a dessert. So I treat myself on the weekends in the morning. Right now it's, I think it's like 11, so it's before noon. My 2 children are off with their papa, visiting their grandparents this morning, having some fun, and I thought I'd take the chance to just sit down with you and catch up. So I left you off a couple of months ago, and where I left you off, I was about to travel over the sea, over the ocean, to go and to spend my time in the States, our time in the States as a family, and to celebrate my sister's wedding, to really just be there present for her wedding and then spend some kind of vacation time there as well. And we were really fortunate because here in Germany, there is paternity leave as well as maternity leave. And so Nick was able to take 2 months off of work to come and just be in the States and kind of holiday there, spend family time, and be there for my sister's wedding, as I said, which was such a big event, such a special, special event, which was it was absolutely wonderful. I have 5 sisters and 1 brother, and my youngest sister's only 14, but the first 4 of us are a little older. And now the first 4 of us girls are all married, which is crazy. So incredible and so wonderful and just so special. We all found our true loves and are just, overjoyed at that. So it was really special to be there for that celebration. But when I was thinking about what am I going to bring with me on this international trip back to the States, I really had to kind of just really think practically and also think about what I would really want to do, because I know when I'm there, now that I've been back a few times in the past couple of years, after, living here in Germany for a number of years and then having children, I know that my time there is so full and filled with just action and activity and family time, and then the children wanting to take the girls, to different places, or, going to the park. We're just out and about, and it's a different rhythm than here. And so I knew, okay, what am I going to be doing? When am I going to have my knitting time, and what do I want to bring? And I decided on a very special project that had been brewing in my mind and in my imagination for a long time. And that is a new kind of shawl design I wanted to make. I had got this yarn. It's the same yarn that I knit my very first shawl design in, the Calville shawl, which I released last year. It's this gorgeous, 100% baby alpaca yarn by, Juniper Moon is the name of the company, and the yarn is Harriet. So funny that right now I'm drawing a blank, but that is what it is, I think. And it's this beautiful, beautiful Harriet yarn, 100% baby alpaca. And yeah, this is the shawl. I won't open it up because it's still a work in progress, but I have not finished it. But I brought the skeins of yarn for that, and one pair of needles, and I said this is going to be. I swatched before I went to know kind of what size needles I wanted, but I said, this is going to be it for me. I'm going to bring this project, and this is going to be my project in the States. And I'm so glad I did, because it was just right. It's, as I said, kind of still a pattern that I'm working through and exploring, and, it's my very own creation, but I had a vision for it, and it's slowly getting there. But it takes, for me, I've found that as I design knitwear of any kind, I'm definitely like a trial and error person. I really like, figuring it out as I go, what I want the pattern to look like and be like. And I had this vision for it, and it's just coming along. But because it is my own thing, I have to kind of rip back here and there, kind of work through things. And so it was really fun, because on moments that I had downtime, it was just a peaceful, wonderful project to kind of think through. And then it also happens to be a project which I wanted it to be that one that's very intuitive in a way, very mindless too, in a sense. Like it's a very simple progression to grow this little shawl. So I'm really, really enjoying it. And I just knew this yarn I wanted to knit with again. I had gotten this yarn when I got the yarn for my first shawl, but knitting it up and then wearing it, in the colder months, my Calville shawl is like, I wear it on repeat. It's such a staple in my wardrobe. I knew I wanted another one with that beautiful yarn. It's just so gorgeous, and it wears so well, I find. And I was really happy that I had this colorway, because I did feel like what was lacking for me in this plush yarn was just, I wanted another colorway, another shawl that was a bit more, vibrant. And so my Calville is very neutral and beautiful, which is very necessary for me in a wardrobe, to have a nice neutral shawl or scarf. But I wanted to have a vibrant one that was also still simple and subtle and just comforting and beautiful. So it's the colorway Lavender in the Juniper Moon Farms Harriet yarn. I don't remember. I'm sorry. I'm so drawing a blank, but it's gorgeous. I'm not going to open it up because, like I said, it's still a work in progress, but you will see it soon, and it's still it's growing, and I'm loving this project. It was such a treat to bring along. And a tip for any of you who travel by plane or who have plan a trip traveling is to bring wooden needles. That is my best favorite tip, because you can bring anything if you knit with wooden needles. I found that they don't, through security, there's no trouble with bringing wooden needles, whether they be a little bit larger or shorter. And then I've had trouble before with metal needles, and I just don't want to lose my needles at security. I think it's so sad. One time I did bring metal needles for socks, and they let them through, but they did talk to me about it and were concerned. And I think some people don't have a problem going through, but I think it probably just depends on where you are located and the day and the situation. And if the people, the security workers have ever even seen knitting needles before. Because if you never have, and you see these 5, sock DPNs, double-pointed needles, it seems very much like a weapon. These really sharp little needles. It's just crazy. So I love bringing wood needles when I travel, and these needles are the Haya I think they're the bamboo needles from Haya, and I love them. I think they're so wonderful to knit with. They're so warm. I love the way the stitches slide right over them. I think they're wonderfully made, and can highly recommend these needles. I think I have just a couple of these, but I really like them. Otherwise, I mostly knit with Chiaogu. I have the interchangeable needle set, the red lace set, which is also fantastic. I love them. But yeah, kind of depends on if you're looking for wooden needles. I love those Haya ones that I have. So in the States, I think, in the States, I worked on that. And like I said, I had to rip back here, work through things. And it's not quite as big as it's going to be. It's going to be a bit of a bigger shawl than what you saw. And you can hardly tell because it was all bunched up. But that was my primary knitting project. Other than that, though, my sister and I got into sewing while I was there. My little sister, who... I have, not the one who got married, another one of mine, my sister Anna, who she just had a baby about a few months ago, who's just about half a year younger than Vivian, my youngest daughter. She is just so wonderful, and she said that she wanted to make things. She decided she kind of wanted to like get into the creative realm a little bit, and asked me about sewing. She saw I was wearing a dress that I had sewn. I brought it along. It's just like a simple shirred dress in like red muslin, and I really love this shirred dress. I wear it all the time. It's just so practical, and I really love it, and it was so flattering for me. It still is so flattering. I think shirred dresses can be really flattering, or are really flattering for my figure, and especially when I was pregnant and then going to postpartum. It was just a wonderful dress because it kind of grew with me and fluctuated with me and was just very feminine and lovely. And she's like, I want to make one like that. Is it hard? And I was like, no, it's such an easy project. Actually, you don't hardly need to know anything about sewing in order to make it. And mine is even wonky, but you can't even tell. It's such a wonderful, pattern. It wasn't even really a real pattern that I followed, but she was inspired. So she got a sewing machine. Her husband got her one. It was like kind of a surprise because he heard her talking about it, and he was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. She was like, I'm going to sew. So she got a sewing machine, and then we sat down together and practiced and learned a little bit. It's, when you start on a machine, it seems like a sewing machine seems so intimidating if you've never used one before. But once you start to get the hang of it, especially for simple basic things, it's so doable and so easy. So if you ever have wanted to sew, or you have a sewing machine which you just like are overwhelmed by it, don't be. Just take it out. Take for yourself like a couple of hours. We took like an hour, and it was always between like when babies were sleeping or babies were crawling around. Like we, didn't have just time to just sit and like spend an afternoon. We really had to take moments that we had free because all of our little babies. But we would take time, and then I'd show her, okay, how to thread the machine, how to thread the bobbin through, how to load up the bobbin with yarn, kind of the different parts. And then in the evening, she would practice, and she got the hang of it really quickly. And then there was a couple of mistakes, or like there was a couple of issues, and as there always is when you start something like that, there's like, okay, the machine didn't work, or it stopped working, or it was jammed, and then we just kind of figured it all out pretty much together and through trial and error, and it was amazing. So our first project that we made together was a bag. I will try to put a picture here to show you. I'll ask her to send me a picture. I have some footage of us sewing, which I will try to include. But yeah, it was really, really fun. We made these bags just out of some fun sheets that we found at a secondhand shop down the street from my mother's home. And we made these really fun bags. It was so cool, these like tote bags. And it was a great practice project to practice stitching. And then she had this cool bag, and I had a bag, and I gifted it to my aunt, which is really special. It was such a simple project, but my aunt who I gifted it to, she happened to have her birthday then, and she's such an amazing artist and maker. And so I was just happy that I could give her something handmade for once in my life, because she's given me so many beautiful handmade things, jewelry and all kinds of things. And she's just like an artist extraordinaire. So we made that, and then my sister Anna started to make other things and dresses, and I was kind of with her in that process. So that was a lot of fun, and that was a big part of my time there, is kind of doing that with her. And then she also learned to knit properly, and she made one of these lovely little bonnets that I made, these simple garter bonnets. I had made a few before I traveled, one as a gift, and then a couple of other ones. And I definitely want to make another one of those soon because they're such amazing, simple, good projects to just knit as gifts for babies. And also I love them for my daughters. I think they're just so cute little bonnets, and these garter bonnets I think are super modern looking and cute and just fun and just such a quick and easy knit. So yeah, she knit one of those, which was really fun for her little girl. And that was really just wonderful to share the hand making with my sister. And I've become pretty, I don't know, like reserved about sharing. I don't know, it sounds so silly to say, but I rarely, like, I'm not gonna like jump if someone's like, oh, pretty sweater. I'm like, I can teach you how to knit. I used to say like, I'm gonna teach you how to knit. I'm gonna, let's do it together. You want to learn? And people would be like, okay. And I'd like be super into it. And I learned over the years, not everyone really wants to learn how to knit or sew. It's not everyone's thing. And it's honestly not always my thing to learn to learn a certain project, even if I admire the thing. But, if someone says they want to learn and they're like, I want to learn, I'm committed, and they get themselves some needles and some yarn, I'm like, let's sit down for as long as we need, as often as we need, and just, knit away or learn the project, learn the craft, take whatever time we need to learn it together because it's so fun to share that love of making. So through all of that, it was just a really fun time. And another kind of project that I got into there, or concept in the making realm, which I won't go too much into, but is scrapbooking. And I don't know if any of you know about Creative Memories. Creative Memories is a specific scrapbooking brand that I think is still popular. I mean, I think it's still really popular, but for me, it's something I associate a lot with my childhood. I think like the early 2000s when my mother was super into scrapbooking with Creative Memories, and we would say she's doing Creative Memories. We wouldn't say she's scrapbooking. She was like, she did Creative Memories, which is the name of this company and is still. And she made these gorgeous like photo albums for my sisters and I, and yearly albums, and they were just so beautiful and so creative and so wonderful with like different kinds of paper and pens and just super beautifully displayed. And I was looking at some albums while I was there, and I was so inspired because I have 2 photo albums that I have not used here at home, and my grandmother was kind of getting rid of some things, and she had a lot of supplies from Creative Memories, which she passed on to my mother to share, and I was just super inspired. So that's another thing I was into then, is kind of gathering photos and gathering supplies to scrapbook and to make photo albums, because I think photo albums are just so special to keep memories and to in such a beautifully artistic and curated way. I think now it's so easy, especially if you're taking photos on your phone, it's so easy to just lose sight and lose track of all those memories in like a big wall of like a million photos, instead of beautifully bringing them together and curating them together. And so that's something that I've been organizing slowly and just briefly telling you, because it's part of my making life, and it is not it is time intensive to make photo albums, especially if you're doing it in that method of like cutting the photos, displaying them and arranging them on photo, just doing that whole process. So that's something that I'm committed to, though, wanting to do for my family, because I think it's just a special gift, and I treasure the photo albums that my mom made for me and for my siblings and from our childhood. And I also my grandmother has one of our whole like family lineage, all the old photos from, our grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, kind of like the family tree. And I would love to make one like that too, of my family and of Nick's family for our daughters, and for maybe one day our future grandchildren. I think that would be so special. I love looking through my grandmother's like family tree photo album. I think it's so special. So yeah, that has been another project that's in the works for me. And I've loved that making, but that is not to do with knitting. So I'm kind of jumbled up here and sharing a lot, but I will move on. The acquisitions, like I said, I think I'll share all of them at the very end. So I can, mark a chapter. I hope that you're able to hop through. If you're not interested in anything, you can just hop over by clicking a chapter and going to the next section of the video. But yeah, I got some beautiful yarn in the States, which I'll share with you later. But then coming back here, home to Germany, I was really, thinking, okay, what do I want to work on? What do I want to make? And I did get really inspired to knit a sweater. And I don't know even how. I don't remember how miraculously it occurred to me after coming here that I wanted to knit this. I think I was looking at my Anne of Cleves sweater, which is a beautiful design by Alice Starmore, or Jade Starmore. It's from the Tudor Roses book by Alice Starmore, and I have loved this pattern. I love the way the pattern looks. I think it's so beautiful. It's stunning. It's intricate. It's like just a masterpiece, as every single one of the Starmore patterns are. In my eyes, like just a masterpiece of, you know, artistry. The finished product is a masterpiece. The process is so much fun and exciting. It's like so exciting. It's so engaging. And so I have enjoyed it. I had knit almost a whole entire piece. It's a pieced cabled sweater with a front and a back, and then 2 sleeves, obviously. Not more than 2 sleeves. But yeah, I have enjoyed it a lot, but I, you know, was thinking about it and holding it in my hand, and I just knew, I don't know how much I'm going to wear this sweater. And I knit a few rows. I was just working forward on it because I really enjoy it. And I was just feeling a little bit like, I don't know if I'm really going to wear this. I don't know if I will, because of the shape of it and the size. And like, I'm knitting it up in chunky yarn. It's like a thicker Aran weight chunky yarn from the wool brokers Jameson and Smith. It's their chunky Shetland yarn, which is discontinued, but there's still some skeins, last I checked, on their website of this exact yarn. So if you're into it, you can check it out. But it's beautiful, but I just think for my frame and my like figure and what I like, I don't think it would look good on me very much. I don't think, like, I know for a fact that it would not be especially flattering on me specifically because of my figure and because of the yarn, and also because of the color and the cut. So it's beautifully tailored. It's a beautifully tailored sweater, and I think a lot of people would really like that. And it would suit a lot of people very well. But for me, like, just the way it's cut off, I've realized I need to keep some vertical lines, and it would just be too clunky. I think it would kind of shorten the design on me. So yeah, I don't know. I decided to move away from that pattern after a long time. If you've been following me, you've known this has been on my needles for ages and ages. And I do love the pattern. Like, I'm kind of sad. I thought, could I gift it to somebody? And I know one of my sisters, the one who just got married, Clarabella, she loves this color. I know that she loves this purple color, or at least she wears it a lot. And I think she once saw me knitting this project when she was here visiting, and she loved the colorway. But I don't think she'd wear the design either. I don't know if it would be her style either. So I couldn't knit it for her. It's such a time-intensive project. I wouldn't want to knit it for someone and then for them to feel obligated to take it. That would be, I think, a shame. So I decided to kind of let my mind wander away from the Anne of Cleves with this yarn and to think, how else can I use this yarn? Because I really love the colorway. I really love just everything about the yarn, honestly. I'm a huge fan of Shetland yarn, and it's just so beautiful, and I just love it so much. So I wanted to find something else, and I settled on a pattern which is so fun, which you've probably seen before, and that is the rug pattern. The designer's name, I right now, I can't remember. I guess my brain right now isn't working because I keep forgetting everything. But I can't remember the designer's name, but I will put it here. And it is this beautiful, chunky, obviously, colorwork yoked sweater. And it's knit in just one size. There's just one size. It's a free pattern. And it's just so fun looking. It looks like such a cozy, fun, oversized knit. I think it looks like something that I would really love wearing in winter time, or even in fall on the cool days, just as an outerwear piece, you know, just a cozy piece, one that I think you could just pop on when you're going out on a walk or just heading out into nature or out to the shops. Like, it's just a beautiful piece that just looks so practical in a way. It's oversized. It's not like a super fancy piece. Like, I felt like the End of Cleves was a very refined, very elegant piece. It's not such like, it doesn't have those words that I would associate with it. It's more of a relaxed and fun and cozy piece. But because of the colorwork, I think there's a certain beautiful traditional rustical feel to it too, which I really like. And yeah, so I looked at it and I thought this would be really fun to have and to wear, because I looked at then patterns with that in mind. What would I really wear? What would I like to have in my wardrobe? And this one looks like the one that I'd really like to have in my wardrobe. So I downloaded the pattern and I got to work knitting. I'm gonna sip my little tea coffee. Otherwise the ice is gonna melt, and that's a shame, but oh, it's so good. But I was really into the pattern, as I said, but looking through the project pages, because I wanted to see, it's often fun for me on Ravelry. I'm so thankful for Ravelry in moments like this, to like look through and see how the project and the pattern actually looks when people knit it up versus the sample piece, because sometimes there is a discrepancy, I've noticed, and you know, it's fun to see how it looks from like real knitters and to hear real knitters' comments. That's why I'm very thankful for Ravelry, and obviously also knitting podcasts, because if I watch a podcast or see something somewhere and someone has knit a project, they can share their experience with it. I think it's so valuable and so wonderful. But I saw one person had kind of done the color work, that had changed the charts and done a different kind of color work charting for the sweater rather than the rug design. And I don't know if this is true, but I love the original pattern. Looks like a Moroccan rug to me. I think that is what it must be inspired by, because it has these motifs that I really love in rugs and I think are super cool, and that's why it must be called the rug. But someone else had on Ravelry, another user had kind of redone the charts their own way and called it their folk rug. I think they probably had knit one before in the regular rug style and then made their folk rug, and I loved how it looked. First of all, I thought like the branding, the folk, I love like folk music. I'm really into folk right now. I just think like it's so fun. I love like this like folky vibe, and it looked like there were these little flowers in the top and kind of like a little floral earthy motif, and it inspired me so much. I thought I'm gonna straight up kind of like copy this idea and make my own charts for my version of the rug. And I've done that. I then just kind of made my own charts for each of the designs, keeping the structure of the pattern the same. And I'm working on it now, so I'm going to show it to you. All that to say, I'm going to now show it to you. It's taken long enough. But here it is, my little rug pattern knit in Jamieson & Smith yarn, chunky, in the colorways. Okay, fuchsia is the main color, and the other color, contrast color, is lupin, I think. But look at this. Isn't this so fun and beautiful? I just loved knitting this. This is it so far. Now, I also tell you something else about the pattern, which is the neckline. The rug pattern has a rolled neck. It's just stockinette and it rolls. And I didn't really like how that looked at all. I didn't like it. And I saw other people did different things for their collars and their sleeves. I did not want the rolling. I just don't like it. So maybe it would have been cool. Maybe it would have been fine also because the chunky yarn, maybe it wouldn't have rolled so much. I don't know. I just decided against it, and I kind of regret what I did. I wish I had just done kind of like a fisherman's rib or like a 3x1 or something ribbing, but I didn't. I did like a checkered rib because I wanted it to lay flat, and I didn't want it to bunch in either. I wanted to keep it the same, but in the end it kind of gave this little tiny bump, which yeah, isn't so lovely. But I did checkers, so I did like knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2 for like 2 rows, and then purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2 for the next. And so it's a little checkered pattern. I did that 3 times, and that was my collar. And so yeah, it is okay. It's gonna be fine. I don't know if I'm gonna stick with that same checker pattern for the sleeves or the hem. I'm not sure. Maybe the hem, because I do like that it lays very nice and flat. Another thing I have planned is to knit this sweater longer than the pattern. I want to knit it nice and long so I can wear it kind of that it goes kind of like past my hips maybe, or maybe hitting right mid-hip. I'm not sure. We'll see. Probably a little longer than my hips, because I know that wool tends to sometimes bunch up a little over time as I wear it, and I like this kind of wool, and I do want it to be longer. I want to be able to wear this cozy sweater with like, you know, a pair of like flares or like yoga pants even. I'm not a huge loungewear person historically. I don't really like wearing loungewear in my day-to-day, or like yoga clothes or workout clothes in my day-to-day, but every now and then I have like a really fun and cute pair of kind of like leggings-ish pants, And I think this would be fun to wear on top for a cozy day at home or just out and about with the girls. And so yeah, that's my plan, to knit it a little longer. But so far I'm loving how the motif is looking. I just did some flowers, really inspired by this one I had seen on Ravelry. I will share that. I'll try to link it below. I don't know if that's what the person would want necessarily if I link it, but I will just, it's called the Folk Rug. It's on the rug project pages if you are interested in searching it. But yeah, I've done this kind of these two simple flower motif layers or parts, and then there's going to be a longer part now which I've just begun, which is a little bit more complex. It's like a 20 stitch repeat, so it's a little bit more, requires a little bit more focus, but it's also a little kind of nature inspired, floral inspired designs, and I'm just so excited to have this. And it knits up so quickly because it's such chunky yarn, so it's like already giant. I feel like it's a giant thing already, but it's taken a fraction of the time of even other sweaters I've knit that are stuck in, that are fingering weight yarn or sock yarn or even worsted weight. So I'm really loving this pattern. It's honestly like just, it's re-sparked for me a new kind of love for knitting afresh. It's so fun to knit this. I have not knit a project like this that gave me this kind of like itch to knit in such a long time. And there's like, I've really enjoyed projects for the meditative quality, just like the savoring quality, but this, I want to knit it. I want to get it off the needles, like not because I want to stop knitting it. Like I just love knitting it and watching it progress so fast. And I do want to wear it so much. So it's been just a joy, and I really, really love it. So this has been a highlight pattern for me and a highlight project for me the last couple of weeks, and I just can't wait for it to keep growing and for me to get to wear it then when the weather gets cooler. It's also so funny because it's such a heavyweight yarn. It's so warm. And it's literally summer right now. It's July. It has been so warm. There have been 30-degree days the last couple weeks, but like if it gets cool in the evening, cool enough for me to tolerate, I want to knit this. If it's like a day where it's like 25 degrees Celsius, I will knit on this. I'm just so enamored with this project, and it's so much fun. So yeah, this is my big project right now, the second purple project. And the third purple project I'm going to show you next is a really, really fun little one. And actually, it's a finished object. It's off the needles. And that is really special because I have these, I feel like I haven't had a real finished object in a while, at least, some time. I think last time I podcasted, I did have a finished object. But I mean, that was a couple of months ago, so it's been a while. And so this is another little project which I finished. This little crown, and this is my last little fiber art project to show you today. This is a special project because it is the birthday crown that I made for Vivian. Vivian's first birthday. She's going to be turning 1 this week. I can't believe it. How the time has flown by. My little baby is already leaving babyhood, turning 1, and just entering into a new era, leaving that infancy. And I mean, it has been like the most crazy quick, I feel like this year has flown by so much, it just blows my mind. But yeah, I'm so excited to celebrate her birthday. And Esmeralda has a birthday crown, which I had needle felted for her around her first birthday. There's a podcast where I share that, or a couple podcasts. I really loved that needle felting project, and I actually wanted to do another needle felted crown for Vivian, but I didn't order the felt sheets in time, and I just kind of thought, why don't I make do with what I have and try something new for Vivian? And I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the future. Like, this is first birthday. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the future, if I'm going to like try to make new crowns for them or keep them cohesive. Right now, Esmeralda saw this and she said, I want one just like that. But I know hers is so beautiful. So who knows what I'm going to do. But for now, this is what I made, this little felted crown. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. I will link it. It's just a birthday crown, felted birthday crown, I think. And it's also knit up in Jamieson & Smith chunky yarn in that lupin colorway, my contrasting yarn colorway. It took less than 50 grams of yarn, and I just knitted up. It was a very quick knit because of the chunkiness of the yarn. I think the pattern actually calls for worsted weight yarn, but I just knit it with this chunky. It didn't make a big difference. In fact, I ended up felting it a little too long and it's a little small, but it fits right on the top of her head. So you can see it could fit right on my head. It fits right on the top of her head. It's not like around her head, but on the top. And I thought maybe I could put ribbons around it to make it like a little hat. I think that would be super cute. Maybe I will do that. But I maybe will also, Vivian is not a big hat person. Esmeralda, as a little baby, she would wear hats. She wore her birthday crown her whole birthday. She did not take it off. But Vivian is different, and she likes to pull the hats off. Whenever I put hats on her, she just pulls them right off of her head. So I feel like she'll pull it off anyway. So why not just keep it like this, super cute, take a few photos of her for her birthday with her little birthday table, and then let her take it off and play with it and have it as a fun little toy. But yeah, I think it looks so cute and cozy and fairy tale-like. I think it's so magical, this little hat. And I've considered embroidering in it. Her birthday's coming up very fast, so I pretty much need to decide today if I'm going to do that or not. But I thought of embroidering a little bit on it and either embroidering little flowers or maybe her name or maybe like happy birthday. I think I'm kind of like leaning towards embroidering either just a V for Vivian or her whole name Vivian. I don't know. Or Vivian Lydia Rose. That's her whole first name. She has 3 first names. Or yeah, first and middle names. So I'm not so sure if I don't do it by the end of the day. If I don't decide by the end of the day, then the answer is it's just going to be a cute little hat, which I think looks so beautiful and simple just as it is. But maybe I will do a little V. I'm not sure. Can't decide. We'll see. But this was a really fun project and one that I can highly, highly recommend. If you are into the birthday crown thing, just get some 100% wool on superwash, worsted weight or chunky yarn and knit this up really quick. Throw it in the washing machine. I threw it in for a whole cycle, which was probably too long. I just threw it in with my laundry and that was a mistake. It was also like a hot load. It was not like a medium heat. And so check on check on the things you're felting. Don't just let them be in there for like 2 hours and then felt super small, but it's really cute. And it would also be cute for an older child if it wasn't as felted, or even as like a little headband or a kind of like a dress up crown. There's so many, uses for a beautiful little felted crown. So I highly recommend this pattern. It was so fun, so simple, it's free, and it was wonderful. So that's my little finished object, and I'm really excited for her to wear it and for us to celebrate her birthday. So yeah, before I show you the acquisitions, finally, I have to tell you, the most incredible, amazing, miraculous thing happened just last weekend, last Friday. I was sitting at home with my daughters, getting ready for bed and getting them ready for bed, and I wondered something about I wonder if there are any knitting festivals in Germany. I don't know why I wondered this. I knew that there were, but I thought, I wonder when they are. I don't know how that appeared in my mind. There must have been some kind of train of thought that led me there, but nevertheless, it came to mind. And so I put them to bed, then I got on my computer and I just looked it up, knitting festivals in Germany, and lo and behold, what appeared? A festival, the Castlevoy Fest, which was the next day. It is a festival which was going to happen the next day, on Saturday. So last Saturday and Sunday was the Castlevoy Festival. And I was like, what? Whoa, this is tomorrow? And it just blew my mind. It doesn't make sense why it blew my mind so much. The reason why it blew my mind so much is because I live really, really close to where the festival was taking place. I live really, really close to it. And so it blew my mind that it was the next day and so close to home. I immediately texted my husband and was like, look at this. I think I'm gonna go. I'm so excited. And he's like, whoa, that's crazy that that's like so nearby. What an amazing thing. Like, what a coincidence. And the fact that that all just came together the day before, that I discovered it the day before, was just insane. I have not seen any like advertisement for it. I haven't seen anything. And I will admit, I'm not active right now like on social media at all. I've been away from social media. Instagram is something I'm really not that involved with. But I check in every once in a while, but I don't really scroll, and I check in on my computer, not on my phone. So it's like I'm not that into the news, I feel like. And that's something I love. That's something I've really been savoring and enjoying so much. But but it also means that maybe I'm out of the loop a little bbit on things like this. But it was just amazing because I found out the day before it happened, and I decided I'm going to go. I'm going to just take the girls. And my husband was like, wait, I want to go with you. And so I had planned to go alone with the girls on Sunday because my husband had to work on Sunday last weekend. And I thought, we're going to have the whole day. I'll just go with them. But on Saturday, we had already this kind of like a summer party with friends at a beautiful place that we were going to go to in the afternoon. So we were kind of busy on Saturday, but my husband was like, I want to go. So what we did was Saturday morning, we went to the festival together, bright and early, right as it opened. We arrived and there was this huge line waiting to be let in, and we got in line and we waited and we went in and we spent about 2 hours at the festival, and really enjoyed looking at yarn, and I got to bring a few things home, and it was my very first ever like wool, what do you say, yarn festival? I don't even know. Yeah, yarn festival. It's called a Wool Festival in German. So yarn festival was my very first time at one ever. I have never been to one. I've always just seen people post about them or, heard about them, but I've never been to one. And so I was so just like a kid in a candy shop soaking it in. It was so much fun. So special. And I thought it was really sweet also that Nick wanted to come with me. He was really excited about coming. So he took some footage of the festival too, which I'll put here as well. And it was just beautiful. It was so much fun. It was a beautiful day. There were all kinds of hand dyers and yarn sellers, and there was wool, there were fleeces and tons of fiber, and there were also sellers that I recognized from online that I have seen in yarn and fiber that I've coveted in the past and just looked at it and thought, it's so beautiful. And I got to see their little stands, and it was just amazing. It was so much fun for my first time, and it was also such a shock because I didn't expect that to happen. It was just one day to the next I was there and in this kind of wonderland of yarn. So it was so special, and I definitely want to go again next year. So if you're in Germany and you are into it, please, maybe we can all hang out together at the next year's wool festival, Castlevoy Festival. So yeah, I just loved it. It was so much fun. And like I said, I brought home some yarn from there. So I think I'll share with you that yarn first, and then I'll share with you my treasures from America. I didn't get a ton of things, but for me, this is a lot of yarn. So I'm really excited. So in the wool festival, we walked in, and there was a stand. And since we just came in when it first opened, we got to see sellers had little baskets of sale yarn, off batches or, yarn, I don't know, that were kind of on sale. And by the time we left, all those were gone. So people bought up the sale skeins really quickly. But I got to snag a scale skein from Bonbonki. Bonbonki hand-dyed yarns, which is a super cute yarn company I've never seen before. But I loved her branding, and looked through her gorgeous yarn, and she had gorgeous different bases, all kinds of bases. It was so much fun to see her yarn. And but when I saw this, I knew I wanted it. It is this beautiful skein of sock yarn. It's called the Luxus Socke Superwash Superwash yarn. It's 75/25 merino and polyamide, and it's just a gorgeous colorway. I knew I wanted it because I always love these colorways, when it's kind of like a neutralish or a light pink or a light color, and then there's speckles. I'm not a huge speckly person, but when it's either tonal or this where it's tons of little tiny speckles, I'm a really big fan. And the colorway is called Sweets, I think, Sweets, and there's another symbol, so maybe Sweets End. It was in the sale bin, so I knew right away I had to take that because I love that colorway, and it was on sale, so I got it for an amazing discount. And yeah, this is from Bonbonki hand-dyed yarns. I really loved it. This is my first purchase. It's just super cute, super beautiful, and I just was so excited. That was my first purchase. And then we went through the festival and looked at all the booths, and I knew I had limited time, but I knew, there were so many beautiful hand dyers. I knew what I wanted to find was some naturally dyed yarn, because I don't know why, but I just think it's so fun to see and experience knitting with naturally dyed yarn or plant dyed, or just natural dyed yarn. And so I was successful looking through. The upstairs had like lots of bright hand dyers, and then we went down to the lower level, and there was like a few tables there was a lot of fiber on the lower level, and then there was like tables with fleeces, and there was one gorgeous seller whose yarn I was just immediately drawn to. There were a couple of naturally dyed little companies or yarn businesses that sold naturally dyed yarn, but this one just called to me. And the name of the company is Rubensaal Spinnereien. They have also fiber of all kinds in natural colors and also in naturally dyed colors. But I was drawn, and went up, and I just started looking at the yarn, and I chatted with I don't know if she was the dyer or if she was just selling. There were two women there. If they both were dyers or if they were just selling the yarn. But she was telling me, like, I immediately touched the skein of yarn, which you will see, this beautiful, bright, vibrant green skein of yarn. And she said, now I forgot. And I immediately forgot after she told me with what flower this was dyed. And I mean, maybe someone can tell me if they have an idea what it was dyed with, because I'm sure that natural dyers maybe have an idea if you have dyed and you are familiar with lots of different, plants and the colors that they can bring out. But she told me, she said, that's dyed with this flower name. And I was like, wow, it's so beautiful. She's like, can you believe such a vibrant green? And we just got into this conversation, and I was like, yeah, but it's naturally dyed, so it probably will fade a little in the sun, right? Like, we have to be careful about too bright of sun. And she's like, no, it's very color fast. And she was like telling me about it, and I was just so into it and so drawn into it. And I knew I wanted to take something home from one of those places. So I ended up taking 2 50-gram skeins of this home. This is also Shetland wool, and I really love Shetland wool. As I said, I just love it. I love just everything about the quality of Shetland. I think is so, it's like there's this rustic quality, but it's just soft. It's so like durable, but it's like, I just think it's not scratchy to me. I mean, it is like, I think for a lot of people wouldn't want to wear this near skin, but for me, I love wearing it near skin, next to skin. It's so warm. I love the spin. It's just so beautiful. So I love this kind of yarn, different bases. But this one was the one I chose, and the colorway I had to choose. My husband was like, that's like the color of our living room wall. As you can see, it's a little bit of a different color. It's a little bit lighter, and a little bit more yellow, I think. But I fell in love with it, and I took both home. There were just 2 of these skeins, and I took both. And I mean, in the moment, I was just so enthralled. I just took them both. And now I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with them, but they're going to be for something so special, for a really special project. I thought I could incorporate them into all kinds of color work. There's so many different things that I could do with them. I'm not sure yet what it will be, but I'm really excited about them, and they're such special skeins. And it's also funny though, because every time I'm out shopping in like a place like that, which is rare, I tend to just shop. Like, I don't really go shopping for things and without a purpose. And if I ever go without a purpose, I always bring home things which I'm like, afterwards I'm like, whoa, what did I want to use that for or something? Because I tend to be someone who shops with a really serious purpose and with a budget and with like, an idea in mind of what I want specifically to make and or to use it for. Like, if I'm going clothes shopping, I can hardly go to a clothes store without bringing something home that I'm like, wait, did I really want to buy that? Like, I don't know if this is making sense, but often I buy things online. And when I buy things online, I can think about it, I can ruminate, I can decide, what do I want? How much do I need? Am I sure I want it? Is it the right colorway? Is it the right, is it the right style or whatever it may be? And so I like shopping online because I can always be very sure, and often I get things out of my cart and add other things in it, and then I can really like decide consciously. But when I'm shopping in person, I'm so like, it's sensory overload, and I'm so taken by the experience of it, especially in a place like this, that I will just buy. But I did not buy too many crazy things, and I'm happy with what I got. But I can imagine that if I had bought this online, I would have thought, okay, what am I going to use it for? Would have intentionally like figured out a pattern and all that kinds of things. But it's kind of special that that wasn't the case for these two colorways, because I think that they just belong in my home and in my life. And so Esmeralda's already said she wants something with these, but I don't know, I want something for myself. Maybe it's 2 50-gram skeins. I think I could definitely incorporate one in a sweater for me and one for her. And so there's definitely enough, and I'm really excited about it. But oh, it's really special. I love these skeins, and I wish I could remember which flower they were dyed with, but it's just beautiful. So the next one I got from that, I also got another thing. This is the one I'm kind of talking about when I'm like, whoa, I just got something. But I probably wouldn't have bought this if I had been shopping online. This is the second little acquisition from this beautiful yarn seller. But this Rubensaal-Spinnereien. But I saw this, and I asked, I was in conversation, and I was like, I really would love to knit a pair of socks without any like synthetic fiber in them. It's something I'm really interested in. It's something I want to do, and I haven't, would you have any yarn like that? And she's like, yes. They had yarn that was like 75-25 wool to polyamide, but she's like, we have this one, which is wool and silk. And she's like, this one you can knit socks with. She's knit socks with it. And she had another one which is 100% wool, which they also said they could knit socks with. But the other one, it was actually, I think, merino. And I was like, I don't know if I want to knit socks with merino 100%, because merino is so fine. But I was drawn to these silk and wool sock blend. And so I went and I was like, okay, I'm going to get a skein of this for sure. And I decided on this colorway. And I very happy that I got this yarn, because I do want to try knitting socks out of this kind of a blend of fiber. But this colorway, I feel like it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful spring dream. It's so romantic and gorgeous, but it just doesn't suit me, my complexion, I think. But thankfully it's for socks, so probably I'll knit it for socks. But now I'm like, okay, do I knit it for my socks for myself? Do I give it as a gift? I kind of want to keep socks that I knit for myself. Like, I want to knit them for myself if they're with this kind of blend, because I want to experience the wear of them. But then Esmeralda also asked for something with this. So in the end, this is going to go to amazing use. I'm so excited about it. But it was kind of an impulse purchase, and I definitely don't regret it, but I feel like I've talked too much about that. But it was a bit of a special treat to add it to my cart, and I in the end, I'm very excited about it and excited about knitting with it. And I do think it's such a gorgeous colorway. I think it's just very like a springtime dream. It reminds me a lot of like a fairy tale. Beautiful color combination. So yeah, that is my next acquisition from my last acquisition from the Wool Festival, the Yarn Festival. Really, really special. Another thing I think is so special about buying something from a place like that, like the Castlevoy Fest or the Yarn Festival of any kind, is that it is such a memory. It's such an event and an experience to be there with all of these other knitters and to see what people are buying, what people are bringing home, what people are wearing, to see people have their shawls. It was a warm summer day, but people have, knitted tops on, and, it's just fun to see what people are drawn to and to see, what they're choosing. It's so rare to be in a situation like that for me. And so I really enjoyed that too. And so this experience will be fondly remembered as I knit with each one of these beautiful skeins of yarn. So yeah, that was my Castlevoy Fest. Those are my Castlevoy Fest acquisitions. And now I'm coming to the final crowning glory acquisition time of this podcast. That is the acquisitions from America. And when I was in America, I knew I wanted yarn from a couple of places. And it was so special to be able to order from them. So the first one that I got, which I wanted to get, was this beautiful, beautiful yarn, little mini skein set from Crafted by the Fates, which is from a gorgeous hand dyer named Phoenix, who I've been following on Instagram, who has become, I feel like, I've been on Instagram for so long, but Phoenix, if you're watching this, I feel like you and I are friends through the ether and through the internet and through this yarn space. I've just loved watching her yarn dyeing business expand and watching her create colorways. I think she's so, artistic with the way that she names her colorways and what inspires them. And it's so fun and playful and just joyful and so just lovely. And she has the sweetest, just way of presenting her things. I really just have loved following her. So I know I wanted to buy something from her and have a piece of her beautiful yarn, dyeing, beautiful hand-dyed yarn with me as I brought her home to Germany. And so I saw when I was there, I was really excited because she has these mini skein sets sometimes, which I've always like just admired online. And because I live so far away, it's hard to ship things from the States to Germany. So I was like, okay, I really want to get something. And I was hoping that I would be able to snag a mini skein set. And I was. She had these limited release of different kind of fun little mini skein sets. And this one is one that she called Found Faye. It's in her Impressionist base, on her Impressionist sock base, which is 75/25 superwash merino nylon. Oh, and they're 20 gram minis, 5 20-gram minis. And these fun, very fairy-like colorways that are just so playful and wonderful. And I just wanted these so much because I thought they would be so much fun to integrate into other patterns and projects. I think this is so fun about having a mini skein set. It's like, look at these wild, bright, beautiful, whimsical colorways. They're just perfect to like have a little piece of color work here or there in like a little yoke or in some mittens or some socks. Esmeralda also saw this and said she wants mittens with this and socks. So she also claims pretty much everything that I bring home, she claims she wants things out of them knit for her. But there's just an endless amount of inspiration to be had just from these colorways and the fun variety of colors that are here in these gorgeous, speckly, delicious, like fairy whimsical colorways. And this is like the perfect, like I said, I'm not always someone, and it was hard for me to choose because she also had different mini skein sets and different yarns that were more, tonal, that were more, different, just totally different kinds. But this really vibrant one I wanted with the mini skeins because I thought it would just be perfect to integrate into other patterns. And so I just fell in love with it, and I was so excited to bring it home with me to Germany. So thank you so much, Phoenix, for having your business, and anyone, I'm going to link it below. Check out her gorgeous hand-dyed yarn. It's just so wonderful, so beautiful, so beautifully dyed, and it's going to make beautiful projects, whatever they're going to be in. You could also, I think it would also be fun to make a really fun stripy pair of socks with these, but I think I'm going to integrate them in different projects because I love a little splash of color. I think it will put in a little fairy-like whimsy in whatever project that I inject these into. So yeah, this is by Crafted by the Fates. And the next final Crown and Glory acquisition that I have to share with you from the States is from a yarn dyer who I've spoken about a lot because it's taken me a lot. I've used this yarn, my last skein from this amazing dyer, so much. It took me so long to finish the project I was knitting it with. And but through that project, I just fell in love with the colorway and the style, like the yarn dyeing style, I don't know how to say it, of this dyer, and that is Paper Crane Yarns, which is Ashley Jeffcoat of Paper Crane Yarns, who is the yarn dyer who I'm speaking about. I knew I wanted some more yarn from her. I wanted another skein, and I wanted another pair of sock yarn because my Moon River socks that I knit up, and which are now in tech editing and testing phase, so hopefully that pattern will come soon. I just wanted to knit and design another pair of socks. Even if it takes me that long, again, it's okay. I just loved that whole process, and I loved working with her yarn, and her colorway just never got boring to me. It was constantly inspiring, and so I looked through her beautiful online shop. She has such gorgeous colorways, and I decided on this skein right here of 75/25 superwash merino in the colorway Dancing Queen. This is such a beautiful colorway. I mean, just look at it. It's a gorgeous tonal rosy plum, beautiful pink and then plummy yarn, and Dancing Queen is just such a gorgeous name for this yarn. I thought it was so much fun too, and I knew like there's just endless inspiration to be had from looking at this pair of this yarn. I'm thinking about pairs of socks that I want to knit with it, and motifs or textures, or just different ways that I want to make a pair of socks with this. So this is going to be a greatly loved skein. It's going to be one that I know I'm going to treasure, and I just chose it with just such care. Each one of her skeins is so gorgeous. It was really hard decision. Ashley also has in-person brick and mortar yarn shop, which is really cool. So yeah, I was so excited. But when I got this yarn, it wasn't just one skein that arrived to me. I ordered this skein thinking I can just bring one home. It's like, I just have to be humble and take one home. And I got a box, which is quite a bit larger than just one skein. And I opened it up, and I tell you, like, it was just the sweetest thing. Ashley sent me 3 more skeins of her stunning yarn, and the most incredibly sweet note ever. I was so incredibly, like, honored and blessed and just touched, Ashley, if you're watching this, like, by her generosity. And we also have this friendship through the ether, I feel like, very much. I feel like it would be so cool to just sit down with Ashley and just hang out and knit and have our little girls playing. She has a little girl who's very close in age with Vivian, my baby, and I just have loved following her journey and seeing her in her shop, and then through her pregnancy and having her daughter, and just, yeah, I really, really love her and love you, Ashley. So it was really special to have this, like, extremely generous gift of yarn. And so she sent me 3 skeins of a colorway which was actually in my cart, which was honestly the one which I thought of with the Dancing Queen as kind of the biggest contender. And this is this gorgeous Aura colorway, which is one of her most special to me, and I think probably, Ashley, probably one of your most special colorways, because Aura is the name of her daughter, and this colorway is that colorway which she dyed for her daughter, which I was so like, my breath was taken from my body. I was absolutely in awe when I opened this box and saw this yarn. It was so beautiful. It is so stunning, and it's honestly one of my very, very favorite colors in the world. This is actually the color similar to the color of my daughter's bedroom. It's like the most beautiful, peachy, sunset, gorgeous, glowing, tonal kind of orange, pink, peach colorway. And so I'm just absolutely in love with it. I think it's so beautiful. And I highly recommend, like, you picking up a skein of this yarn if you can, because this colorway, because it's just so beautiful. It's so stunning. And 3 skeins is such a feast for my imagination, to feast on what am I gonna knit with this. Immediately I started to dream about what I want to knit with this gorgeous yarn, and just like, oh my gosh, there's so many things I could make, so many beautiful projects that this could become. Shawls, sweaters. I thought there's so many ideas I have for this, and I can't wait to work with this yarn and just knit with it and treasure it. It's such a huge gift. Thank you so much, Ashley, for this incredibly generous gift, and yeah, I will wear it and just treasure it forever. So this is a really special surprise, and I think they look so beautiful together, these yarns. That was honestly also like such a struggle when I saw this, because I was like, I want to make something with all 4 of these together, but I know I want socks with these, and I know I want to design a pair of socks with this yarn. Then I also thought I could make a pair of socks with this. This is also so, like, inspiring, but these are too, like, beautiful to separate. It's such a high quality problem to have. What am I gonna knit? Endless opportunity, endless ideas about what it could be. But yeah, this was such a treat, and honestly, like, just a huge gift. So special. So thank you so much, Ashley. And if you are interested in these colorways, please go check out her shop. I'll of course link it as well. And check out Ashley's podcast, because her podcast is just so much fun and always inspiring, because Ashley is so prolific. I feel like she knits so many things and complex patterns, like color work, gorgeous pieces, and so much, I feel like, compared to me. I'm so slow. So I'm always, like, super excited to see what she's up to and what she's making. So yeah, this is from Paper Crane Yarns. Oh, so fun. It's like to have this huge pile of yarn and actually seeing all this yarn together. All of them look wonderful together. Like, you could see, and look at this beautiful Crafted by the Fates with this naturally dyed. Could even go with, like, Aura. They could all go together. I mean, this is just, it's such a treat to have an array of beautiful new yarn skeins to dream about and to work with. So I'm really excited about it. I can't wait to, knit each one of these up. It's really a lot of fun. now I've worked through all the fiber arts. I've shared with you all that I have, all that I've made, all that I'm making. And yeah, I don't want to keep you too long. I could sit here all day long and chat with you, but I should let you go and get on with your day. It's been such a joy to sit with you and talk to you today. I hope that you're doing well and that you're making things that inspire you, whether that be knitting or crochet or sewing or cooking or whatever it may be. Yeah, I really hope that you have a wonderful rest of the season you're in, whether that means summer or winter or somewhere between those two, depending on where you are on this planet. But I'm going to go ahead now and put away all these beautiful skeins of yarn and clean up a little bit because I have the house to myself. Yesterday, Esmeralda and I prepared a big pan of cinnamon rolls, which I just froze for Vivian's birthday, so that on her birthday I can take them out and bake them fresh. And yeah, I want to do some housework today and get things done while I have the house to myself. Because even though I love to do housework with my girls, I think it's so much fun to integrate them into it. And now even Vivian will take a cloth and try to clean the windows or clean something. And Esmeralda's an amazing helper, but it goes so much quicker when I'm by myself. It's incredible how fast it happens and how fast the house is cleaned or laundry is done when I'm doing it alone, even though I love to do it with them. But yeah, I'll probably do things like that and get things ready for the rest of the weekend. I can't wait to chat with you again soon. And you can find me on my website, merryweatherliving.com, where I will post a couple of blog posts soon. I'm really excited about that. And other than that, I'm Merryweather Living on Instagram. Although lately I have been, like I said, very inactive. Sometimes I check on my computer, check in, but I don't have Instagram downloaded on my phone right now. I just really enjoyed being away from social media. But, for now, we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be that I hop on here and there and get back in there. But I just have loved the cadence that I feel like I found in my life without social media. I just really like it. I like the breathing room it gives me. And we'll see. We'll see if I bring it back or not. But you can follow me there if you want to, in case I ever do post. Sometimes I might, maybe it won't be a while, but I do love to get inspired on there when I go on there. Even if I go on my computer, sometimes I scroll for a minute. It just doesn't, on the computer, I don't have a big impulse to scroll, and so it doesn't happen that much, but sometimes I get to look at stories, and whenever I do, I really love the inspiration to be found there too. It's such a, you kind of have to pick what you want, the inspiration, or for me, I'm too drawn in, so maybe it's better to be away, but anyway, yeah, Merryweather Living is where you can find me.com, and that's also my username on Instagram. Until next time, I wish you all the best, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Take care. Bye.